If you run a small business that depends on a van, the last few years have been quietly frustrating in a way that does not make headlines but absolutely affects how you operate. One by one, the compact and mid-size commercial vans that used to give smaller operations a sensible, affordable option have disappeared from American showrooms. Chevrolet pulled the City Express, Nissan killed off its NV lineup, Mercedes-Benz walked away from the Metris, Ford dropped the Transit Connect from the US market, and then at the end of the 2022 model year, the Ram ProMaster City quietly left too, taking with it one of the last remaining options for businesses that needed something smaller than a full-size van but more capable than a car-based crossover. What was left behind was a market that had essentially consolidated around large vans, and a lot of operators quietly making do with vehicles that were either bigger than they needed or older than they would have liked. The practical consequences of that shift are worth thinking about for a moment, because they explain exactly why the news of the ProMaster City's return matters. A full-size van like the Ford Transit, the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, or the Ram ProMaster is a genuinely capable piece of equipment. For a large logistics operation or a contractor who regularly hauls heavy materials in bulk, there is no real substitute. But for a plumber who needs to carry tools and a few lengths of pipe around a city, or a florist making deliveries, or a small business running a shuttle service, those full-size vans represent a significant overcorrection. They cost more to buy, more to fuel, more to maintain, and they are noticeably harder to maneuver through the kinds of dense urban environments where a lot of service businesses actually operate. The medium-sized van that used to sit between the compact car-derived options and the full-sized heavyweights served a real purpose, and its absence created a gap that many businesses have been feeling ever since. Ram has clearly been paying attention to that gap because the company has confirmed that the ProMaster City is coming back for the 2027 model year. This is not a simple revival of the old model with a few cosmetic updates. The van has been substantially re-engineered, and the changes suggest that Ram spent time thinking seriously about what commercial operators actually need, rather than just dusting off the previous generation and hoping for the best. The most immediately noticeable change is the size. The 2027 ProMaster City is around 22.9 inches longer than the outgoing model, which works out to approximately 582 millimeters of additional length. That might not sound dramatic on paper, but in cargo van terms, it is genuinely significant. The added length means the new van can accommodate industry-standard pallets and carry full 4x8 sheets of construction materials like drywall or plywood flat in the load area. For contractors, tradespeople, and anyone whose work involves moving materials rather than just small packages, that capability opens up a much wider range of jobs the van can handle. The original ProMaster City was more limited in that respect, and it was a limitation that cost the van potential customers who needed just a little more room than it could offer. Importantly, the growth in size has been managed carefully enough that the van still occupies a clearly different space from the full-size alternatives. The whole point of a mid-size commercial van is that it remains manageable in environments where the bigger options become genuinely awkward, and Ram appears to have kept that principle front and center during the redesign. Urban usability, the ability to navigate tighter streets and fit into parking situations that would defeat a Sprinter or a Transit, is part of what makes a van like this worth having for a certain kind of operator. The technology included in the new model reflects how much expectations have shifted in commercial vehicles since the original ProMaster City was on sale. Driver assistance features that were considered optional extras or even luxuries a decade ago are now increasingly viewed as baseline requirements by fleet managers and business owners who take risk management seriously. Advanced collision mitigation, lane monitoring, and driver awareness systems are expected to be part of the package, which matters both for safety and for the insurance and liability calculations that influence purchasing decisions in commercial fleets. A van that helps prevent accidents is not just a safer vehicle, it is a more economical one over the course of its working life. Pricing is arguably where the returning ProMaster City makes its most compelling argument. Ram is targeting a starting price below $40,000, and in the current commercial van market, that figure stands out clearly. The Ford Transit Cargo starts at around $48,400. The Mercedes-Benz Sprinter opens at approximately $48,990. Even the long-running Chevrolet Express and GMC Savannah tend to start near $42,200. Ram's own larger ProMaster Cargo, which is arriving for the 2026 model year, carries a base price of around $46,370. Sitting meaningfully below all of those figures, the ProMaster City creates a genuine entry point for businesses that need real commercial van capability without stretching their budget to reach it. For small operations and independent tradespeople who are spending their own money rather than managing a corporate fleet account, that price difference is not trivial. The configuration options being planned for the new model add further to its appeal. Ram is reportedly developing 11 different configurations across 2 primary trim levels, which gives buyers a meaningful ability to match the vehicle to their specific requirements. The lineup is expected to include traditional cargo panel van versions for operators who need maximum load space, alongside passenger-carrying variants that can seat up to 8 people. That passenger option opens the van up to shuttle services, small transport businesses, and any operation that needs to move people as well as equipment. It is the kind of versatility that makes a single vehicle platform useful across a much wider range of industries. One of the less obvious but practically important aspects of this project is where the van is coming from technically. The 2027 ProMaster City is expected to be derived from an established European commercial van platform that has been adapted to meet North American requirements. European markets have relied heavily on compact and mid-size vans for urban delivery and service work for a long time, and the platforms developed for those markets have been refined through years of real commercial use. Building on that foundation rather than starting from scratch allows Ram to bring a proven architecture to market more efficiently, which in turn supports the kind of competitive pricing the company is targeting. Dealers who have been watching the mid-size commercial van segment sit largely empty for the past few years are reportedly eager about the return. The enthusiasm makes sense from a business perspective because a van at this price point with this range of configurations addresses a customer need that has genuinely not been met for several years. Fleet buyers who have been making do with oversized full-size vans or holding on to aging vehicles past their ideal replacement point represent exactly the kind of pent-up demand that a well-timed product launch can convert into strong early sales. The 2027 Ram ProMaster City will not be the most exciting automotive story of the year. It will not set any lap records or generate social media buzz from supercar enthusiasts, but that is entirely beside the point. Commercial vans are working tools, and the measure of a working tool is whether it fits the job it was bought to do. For the thousands of small businesses, independent contractors, and service operations that found themselves with shrinking choices when the mid-size van segment collapsed, a capable, affordable, properly sized option arriving at the right moment could be exactly what they have been waiting for.